Hi, my name will be Museum of Art and Louvre. To start with the High Museum of Art, this building is significant not just as a museum but as a cultural state of the city. It's developed and higher and opened in 1980 and later extended by 2005. It is a really important for the environment known as 1910. At the time, they were a position as a cultural and economic center and especially museum section identity by creating a strong architectural landmark. Socially, the museum plays a big role in accessibility. It's not just a place to view art, but a space meant for the public to gather and experience culture open and wet. Direction enforced by museum less subject and more like the essentials. You think of it as from a moral constitution, something that feels more and will be interactive. Architecturally, the High Museum is rooted in modernist ideas, especially in the work of Richard Meyer. His design focuses on clarity, contrast, and feel and a concept here is like pleasant naturally is something that really shapes the space. Essentially, it's really hard building because it acts as a kind of anyway that organizes and so does work. And this space unique connect us areas and a switch orientation. Progressive and extended meaning of and a softer atmosphere just a light and be filled into relationship while pianos is more responsive and environmental. Some of the defining stylistic elements of the High Museum are immediately recognizable. One of the most important is the use of bright white enamel panels, which is a given forever. This creates almost abstract. Buildings composed of linear form, cube grids, straight line dominate the design. There is a very strong separation, especially vertical and horizontal elements, which gives the build rhythm and consistency. Another key motif is transparency. Glass is used strategically to create visual connections between interior and exterior spaces. In the Anno Adin, used materials like filler panels. These elements often function as light and create a more subtle changing atmosphere throughout the day. Overall, style shifts slightly from strict modernism towards something more human and responsive. When we look at how these concepts apply, are actually clear in the thought and the facade is very troubled. No substance feels limited in contrast. pH more layer less rule and this organized terrestrial agent with very smaller accentuates buildings small building. Markings of original smells like this balance is key to polish the handle structurally this uses still concrete into the system. These slides are essential for interiors. Relation is one of the more experiential elements. You ramp for the open side panels just moving through the link on. In the inside the High Museum is defined by its simplicity and its focus on light and user-friendly with central-bound full artwork. So I would say lighting this feel more noted. Light is filtered from a soft and even illumination rather than a harsh contrast. This contributes to a calm and almost serene atmosphere. Very important which look rather than the art. Here's last and reinforcement aesthetic. These are minimal and functional, often limited to simple benches or seating areas so they don't distract from an overall experience. I'm now going to shift to the Louvre Museum in Paris. The Louvre has a completely different type of historical significance compared to the High Museum. It originally began as a medieval fortress in the 12th century under King Philip II. Over time, it was expanded and transformed into a royal palace. The most important social shift happened for its public. A major society. It was longer, today it is one of the busiest museums in the world and has the most artworks in the world. This is the national and heritage and the relation of objects. Architecturally, the Louvre is defined by its evolution rather than a single unified design. It is made up of layers from Renaissance and classical French architecture. Despite this, there is still a strong sense of order and organization. Between historic architecture while also the practical purpose of civil efforts and institution. The Louvre is characterized by classical architectural elements. These include columns, pediments, and detailed stonework. The facade has created even windows and physical elements. There's a high level of which reflect royal and national court and cost help organize the overall care. The pyramid is a craft element, expertise in the violence and solidity of hillstone buildings. Looking at how these ideas are applied, the facades are highly ordered and symmetrical with detailed stone construction. The plan is extremely ornamental, which helps make it built on its sides. Built with air Inside, the Louvre is much more varied than the High Museum. Different areas reflect different historical periods, so the interiors change as you move throughout the building. These spaces are grand and highly lit, with highly and relic marble. The gates are often on here, movement, the weird history. It is controlled by natural and physical sources to protect the ark. Furnishings and decorative products match the historical style, which is reinforcing the sense that you're looking for areas. It's interesting when comparing students how differently they approach the protection experience. The High Museum is very introductive, focuses on light, clarity, and accessibility. The architecture is minimal and controlled, allowing the user to move freely and experience an open environment, emotional, quiet, and visitors the individual. Though on the other hand, offers accumulation of time, it is not simply about scales and more cultural. It is more monumental and artists overwhelming because it's constantly with the chemistry. Another difference in the building movement of museum installations fluid and continuous, guided by the space. The movement is more structured, personal, shaped by axes and lines. The area of the museum is small materials like glass, concrete, paint, and abstract, red stone, imitation, and working. This is ultimately, the High Museum reflects how things are today. Open, flexible, and user-centered spaces. The Louvre, on the other hand, reflects how architecture can carry history and symbolize purpose. So in a way, one is about light and clarity, and the other one is about weight and memory. That contrast is what makes this comparison so compelling.